Welcome to 9 on the positive side. Thank you so much for being here. We have so many great stories for you this weekend. And we start in Mount Airy, where one man there is unlocking the past one post office box door at a time. Chad Tucker shows us how he's turning them also into boxes of memories.
I didn't do woodworking when I was growing up. I didn't know nothing about woodworking.
But life has a way of opening doors. When a friend introduced Errol Hill to the craft.
Just taking a rough piece of lumber, don't look like nothing, and you plane it down and it's like it just comes alive. I used to use clamps.
That was 40 years ago, and he's still opening doors.
Like this door right here, that's called a double dial spread eagle.
Especially post office box doors.
Like this right here is a combination door.
As post offices remodeled, these old doors found a new use.
And this is just an older door, different style door.
Errol turned them into banks.
I could put that pop rivet in there and make it into a usable door.
His most popular are the doors from universities, like Wake Forest.
This is the Wake Forest door, see the tabs.
These traditional brass doors, a staple in post offices across the country, were once essential in daily life.
This wood right here, the oak, it comes from Wake Forest.
And for alumni of schools like Wake Forest, they take them back to those college years before email.
And like this one was made in 1969.
To the letters from home that passed through them.
I got letters upstairs that my mother sent me. The stories that people would tell you about what happened around that mailbox while they was in college. And then you say it comes from Wake Forest.
Helping folks unlock boxes of memories. That's where Errol finds joy.
The joy of making something with your own hands. The joy of seeing something come to fruition that you put together.
In Mount Airy, North Carolina, I'm Chad Tucker.
Truly just is remarkable, and he says one of the more popular mailbox requests are from alumni who want their old post office box numbers. The Friends of Greenville Greenways, otherwise known as Frogs, is increasing their efforts to provide more recreational and fitness options within the city of Greenville. The organization is working to revitalize downtown by creating safe areas for pedestrians and bikers.
We advocate for their use so that people get out and run and walk and ride on our trails. We also provide amenities such as benches and kiosks and information markers all along the greenways.
For more information on this story, just head over to our website, WNCT.com, and you can find this story under our online originals, and that is near our features tab. A North Carolina man who lived with kidney disease for more than 2 decades is starting the new year with a new kidney and a new hope for the future. It's all thanks to a special donor, his wife. Now they're hoping to encourage others to consider the incredible gift of kidney donation. Megan Newland has this story.
Georgie Smith and Tate Tucker share quite a history.
We knew one another when we were like 14. We met one another in Okinawa, Japan, when our fathers were in the military.
Over the years, they remained close.
We kept in touch through letters.
At one point, Tate told Georgie that he was dealing with chronic kidney disease.
Diagnosed probably 20 years ago.
But he came in for a visit and he told us about his disease. I can remember saying, I'll give you my kidney one day if you need it. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, I'll give it to you. If you need a kidney, I'll give you a kidney.
But for the better part of 2 decades, Tate's illness didn't take too much of a toll on his career as a boat captain or the adventures he and Georgie shared when they became a couple. Then, a few years ago, his health started getting worse.
The past 3 years started to deteriorate.
He ended up on the transplant list.
For my blood type, they were saying 3 to 5 years. If it's going to take 3 to 5 years, I'm not going to make it. So I tried to put a real big push into get a living donor. So I tried to throw as big a net as I could.
Their Topsail Beach community responded with incredible support, and a number of people got tested as potential kidney donors. As it turned out, Tate's match was sitting right beside him.
Georgie was there the whole way.
A couple of weeks before Christmas, surgeons removed one of Georgie's kidneys and gave it to Tate. who had recently become her husband.
We got married in August. We're newlyweds.
Yeah.
With a healthy kidney each and plenty of adventures still ahead, they sometimes think back on that conversation years earlier.
If you need a kidney, I'll give you a kidney. So, I don't know. Is that fate? Maybe.
But one thing is sure as they look toward the future.
She saved my life. It's incredible. It's an incredible gift.
Surely is. And that was Maggie Newland reporting for us. Now, Tate says he's feeling better than he has in years, and Georgie's kidney is working perfectly. They say the recovery was painful for about a week or so, but they're both working now and looking forward to so many more years together. And if you're looking for more good news, just go to our website, WNCT.com. There you'll find these stories and more under the 9 on the Positive Side tab. We also have all of our 9 on the Positive Side shows there for you to watch if you want to there too. After a month of designing 3D printing and making modifications, a team of high school engineering students in Tennessee built a student a prosthetic hand. Claire Kopsky has more.
In this classroom, students are creators.
You're supposed to be engineering, coming up with new ideas, solving issues, and just making things better than how they used to be.
The class, called Engineering Design and Development, is where this trio became friends.
I've definitely made most of the memories that I've made here inside this classroom.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Not long into their semester, they added a fourth.
Yeah, I didn't know them, so I actually got introduced to them by the teacher. And then that's when they started working on it, and I got to be friends with them.
Sergio Perota isn't in their class, but quickly became part of every class period.
In my first years of school, it was, I had a lot of people ask me, what's wrong with, what happened to my hand? Lots of people. And I used to just say, even in kindergarten, I used to say I was born like that.
He was born with one hand that never fully formed.
How I would work would be carrying things. I would just carry them like this, or if I had a water bottle, I would just carry it right here. It really wasn't that difficult. I got used to it, so I could do pretty much a lot of stuff, almost everything.
The almost everything is why these students were tasked with building him a prosthetic hand.
I didn't know Sergio when we were going to do this. We were kind of starting from scratch, but we were able to look at some previous designs from offline. And once we started with the idea, it went off from there.
After 4 weeks of designing, 3D printing, and sizing to Sergio's hand, the class put him to the test with a game of catch. A new hobby he never knew was possible.
I never expected this. Living without a hand for 15 years and they actually offered me to is actually pretty cool. No one has ever offered me this stuff. It changed my life.
A life changed in a class they'll never forget.
Never. I'm just going to remember it.
Claire Kopsky, CBS News, Hendersonville, Tennessee.
It was a really cool way to kind of intimately get with them, just on a really personal level.
A North Carolina NASCAR driver is taking his races online. Next, how he's reaching new fans. Playing video games can earn people some cash if you've got a fast trigger finger while on camera. Professional game streamers are set to rake in millions of dollars this year, including some who live right here in the Carolinas. Brett Baldeck tells us where all this money is coming from.
Lights, camera, green screen. Professional game streamers like Garrett Smithley building a mini studio right at home. Smithley streams the iRacing simulation. My car's go spinning! But he's also a full-time driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. His virtual racing during the week is a new way to engage with younger fans.
It was a really cool way to kind of intimately get with them, just on a really personal level.
Fans can ask questions and chat directly with Smithley during the stream. The popularity of this interactive tool has only grown since the pandemic, with thousands of people watching at the same time.
If you know about Twitch, that is a massive amount of people watching.
They're not only watching, they're recognizing who is playing the game.
I was in Georgia getting my oil change, and somebody was like, "Hey, are you Garrett Smithley?" And I was like, "Yes." He says, I watch you on Twitch all the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Byron to the apron.
NASCAR as a sport took advantage of streaming during the pandemic shutdown, broadcasting iRacing on network television. Smithley was able to snag a Logitech sponsor from the exposure as other business owners reached out via the stream chat.
It was definitely a cool opportunity for me, not only personally, but business-wise as well.
Here comes Smithley up to the top side.
There are others streaming as a professional network.
We broadcast sports and esports the same way anyone else would if it was on TV, but we just use Twitch as our platform.
Podium Sports was formed in 2018 and immediately saw the money roll in.
A lot of what we do revolves around sponsorship money. We also have clients that, they pay for our services to stream their events.
And that was enough to
streaming a virtual race on iRacing. Podium can charge clients between $75 to $500 per hour. That money could be considered on the cheaper side. According to data from sportslens.com, professional game streamers are expected to make more than $100 million this year.
Based on what I've seen over the past few years, it takes a lot of work to get into a profitable point with streaming, but it's there, people love it.
And that was Brett Baldeck reporting for us. New year, new hobbies. If you're looking to start something new this year, here's an idea. Pottery, a local artist opening up her studio to Channel 9. Stacy Swinson is the owner of Ground Up Pottery. She makes everything from mugs to mixing bowls, keeping it as organic and functional as possible. She says this is a great way to manage stress too.
I need just some time in the studio where I can make a mess, and even if I come out with absolutely nothing, the next day I feel better.
Now, if you're interested in trying a hand at pottery, we have more information about Ground Up Pottery over on WNCT.com. All you have to do is find this story, our online original, under our Features tab. Decades divided. Next on 9 on the positive side, the lengths a woman in Virginia went to find her long-lost brother. Imagine being separated from your twin as a baby and after 3 decades, reuniting once again. That's exactly what happened to a woman in Virginia Beach. Haley Milan reports and has this incredible story.
Family means everything to Rodney, who was adopted as a baby after her biological mother got sick. The adoption tore her from her twin brother, who has cerebral palsy.
You always know how much money you might have, but you never know how much time you have. So at that point, I had went into a deep depression. But as I'm coming out of it, I'm like, I have to find my brother.
Resolved to find her brother, she took to social media with nothing but the first names of his adoptive parents and the one photo she had of him. A defining feature, he was born with a clenched hand.
Over the years, I've definitely, tried to look for him and stuff like that. But being that both of our names got changed, it always came up to a dead end.
And her plea for help went viral. Thousands of strangers pitched in to solve Asha's mystery. And one woman connected the dots, finding a family living in Texas. Asha finally had a name. Moses Cordova. She found his Facebook page.
As I'm scrolling, I see a picture, and the picture is he's taking a selfie, and I see his arm, and his hand was clenched, and I lost it. I started crying. I started just thanking God in that moment, because I said, this is him, and I could not believe it's been 34 years.
She tracked down a phone number and fired a text, the photo of the two of them.
It says, I've been looking for you my whole life. And I was like, wow. So he says, can you call me?
And she says the holidays this year were like no other, being able to call her brother and wish him a Merry Christmas.
When I find him and I actually FaceTime him, and I'm looking at this man that was created with me. We shared a womb for 9 months. It was amazing.
I'm Haley Milan, 10 on your side.
If you have a story idea, we want to hear from you. We want to know about all the positive things happening where you live. Just email newsdesk@WNCT.com. It's newsdesk@WNCT.com. You can also reach out to me with your story ideas over on Facebook or on Twitter. Beautiful music can soothe the soul, bring a smile to your face, or even a tear to your eye. CBS's Steve Hartman has the story of a young musician that I can tell you, it'll do all three. Here's a story you will have to see and hear to believe. A young musician is bringing a smile to people all around his community, one performance at a time. CBS's Steve Hartman has a story of how this young musician is doing just that in today's On the Road.
To 11-year-old Jude Kofi of Aurora, Colorado, this surprise was music to his eyes. Obviously, whoever said the best things come in small packages was never gifted a grand piano. Jude's father, Isaiah.
So one day it just shows up at the house?
Yes, all for free. Who does that?
The answer in a moment. But first, the reason. About a year and a half ago, Jude's dad heard a noise coming from the basement. There was an old keyboard down there, but no one knew how to play it. Certainly not his autistic son, Jude. Or so he thought. Isaiah then got Jude a larger keyboard to see what more he could do. And boy, could he do. The kid never had a lesson. No one taught him any of this.
How do you explain that you're as good as you are?
It's a miracle.
You think it's a miracle?
That's what I prefer.
Bill Magnuson prefers that too.
Is he special?
He's beyond special. He's Mozart level. It's coming from somewhere beyond.
Bill is a piano tuner. He saw a local news story about Jude, heard him play, learned how his parents immigrated from Ghana, how they're raising 4 children and sending money back to Ghana.
What resources are left over to help this special little soul?
Yours.
Yeah.
Using an inheritance from his father, Bill bought the piano, spent $15,000. He has promised to tune it once a month for the rest of his life.
Very nice.
And he's even paying for Jude to get professional lessons.
We're family now.
Somebody to just love your son like that by making sure that his future is secured. We are super thankful. Yeah.
Press the pedal.
Caring for other children as your own. The defining note of humanity. Steve Hartman, On the Road, in Aurora, Colorado.
Thanks so much for joining us for 9 on the Positive Side. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next time.